Reciprocity and indifference. Those are two things that you talked about there that were on my list. And I think we can actually go deep into some smart and dumb
Let's do
ideas.
it.
So,
Yeah.
so giving. So absolutely giving is a way to stimulate reciprocity. Now, it's not a conditional form of giving, but it is well known. It's scientifically proven. This is why agents should do it unconditionally, because it's scientifically proven in North America that the number one form of influence is reciprocity, which is you scratch my back, I want to scratch. I naturally, as a human being, if you do something for me, I now want to do something for you.
Right.
And so then there's so many ways of giving that don't even cost any money, but you're giving something. We'll go into that in a sec. And then what you said right there is the indifference element. Okay. And I love that, because indifference is a well-known sales technique that you have to show your potential prospect that you don't need their business. You want their business,
Right.
but you don't, if it is this way, but you don't need it. And as soon as, which is very hard if you don't make any money and you're new, but you have to learn the skill of indifference, which is, hey, if we're not going to work like this together, then that's okay. You can go find
Right.
someone else to work with. And what you demonstrated was how you do that. So it's really great. That's basically a technique of like, hey, if within an hour we're not already talking about next steps and moving forward, then that's okay. It shows that maybe I'm not the right fit and you don't trust me, and maybe you should go work with another agent. And by me saying that to the prospect, it actually elevates my status, shows indifference, which makes them more likely to be like, oh, wow, a really great professional would say this.
Right.
A bad professional would be trying to sell me, and convince me.
Right.
And so that's a really cool technique to convert leads and acquire clients. And then the giving, which I think we can go into, because I have some good and bad giving, right? Agents do some weird things that they think is giving. And I go, well, that's a weird thing to give someone, and that's a good thing to give someone. And so I'll lead with what I think is dumb things agents give people. Okay, because this one's fun and funny. So there's a lot of talk on like closing gifts, and this is where it gets into closing gifts and like things to give people. And this goes back to who you are as a person. And I don't think knives is unless you're like a Japanese sword samurai artist, or like a, you used to be some crazy sous chef, right? Maybe you were a sous chef in the past, and so maybe you know the best knives in the world. But there was obviously that big trend of Cutco, and agents buying Cutco knives and putting their brand on it. And it's like, you realize you're giving your client a weapon. You're giving your client a knife to kill you. A knife in some cultures is a definition of severing a relationship.
Yeah.
And so I think it is dumb for agents to give people knives. I think depending on the price point of your house that you just made money on, to give someone nothing, I think is a problem.
Yeah.
And I've seen that happen before. To give people a bouquet of flowers when you made $10,000, $20,000. I had my sister got a gift from a realtor. It had the price tag on it. Don't ever give something, and the price tag said $39.99 for a $1.5 million house.
Now, yeah, I got nothing one time.
And I told my sister, I was like, you better not use that realtor ever again. That is absolute trash. So it's not about going overboard. I think it's about meaningful gifts that show you know the person. That is the best gifts. Is after you do business with someone, you get to know their likes, their hobbies, their interests. And so it's not about the price. To an extent, it's about that you give them something that means something to them. It doesn't
Yeah.
need to have your brand on it. They will remember it.
I got to add a toy dinosaur to your mix because I wouldn't normally be giving toy dinosaurs for closing gifts, but this one was really awesome. It was robotic. It was huge. The 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 buyer of this house, it was right before Christmas, and I was chatting up their son, who was like 4 years old, super cute and very outgoing. And he let me in on that secret. It was like he was hoping that Santa was going to bring him this incredibly expensive, over the top robotic dinosaur. And I knew his parents weren't likely to do that. So I took a chance. I didn't check with them first. I got it. And on Christmas Day, they called me. They're like, "You just made Christmas for our son. He is over the moon." And by far, that was the best present he got. You know, it's like exactly what he wanted. Thank you so much. And that, I mean, that's the quintessential best thing you can possibly do, is get to know someone. What do people care about? They care about their children. And then what do the children care about? They don't want anything like an adult would want. They want their dinosaurs, right? They're
And they'll be busting out that, like, the great thing about giving children a gift, the children of the parents a gift, is they'll be busting out that gift to play with on a daily basis. And that's going to be a daily reminder that that realtor just gave their kid this thing that's going to be a bundle of joy for 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
So here's, because in writing those the 2 books, if you haven't checked them out, go to Amazon. Becoming a Local Leader and Referral Secrets. Those are the names of the 2 books that I wrote with some other agents. It's as cheap as I can offer it, as Amazon will let me. So it's not about making money. And there's tons of strategies in those books. And the one thing that came up over and over and over again was variations of things that agents would give people. From it sounds archaic, but personal notes.
Yeah.
Works.
Yeah.
It just works so well for so many agents. And as a young millennial, it's something that it takes a hard time for me to wrap my head around, because I'm like, I would never think to do that.
Yeah.
But people love these personal notes, handwritten notes. It doesn't cost you a penny except some pen and a paper. And it just means it's something that it stands out because people don't get them anymore.
I would add that writing them yourself in an authentic way is the difference maker there. I've tried everything because I've been in this for 25 years now. Hard to believe. It started when I was 10. But they have the signature mimicking software where you can send in a sample of your handwriting and it mimics that, and then prints it in blue ink that looks like maybe you wrote it. But it's like, it reminds me of how robots, when they look human, but they're not quite human, creep people out. Like, it's way worse than, like, I forget what that's called, but robots that look like robots, people are like, fine, that's fine. It's a typed note and you signed it. Like, if you don't have the time in your day to actually write something, don't pretend to write something, right? And don't use a template. Hope you're doing great, for every single client. Write something because you got to know them. Like, that's what will protect you going forward from everything that's coming our way that's trying to make real estate automatic